Hey, everybody. This is Devin. I know, didn't I sound like a typical YouTuber? I'm like, I always watch people on YouTube and think, don't do that. Why are you doing that? Why are you moving your hands that way? And you know what? It's nerves. It happens with nerves. But anyway, so this is the first night of our homeschool boot camp. I promised the mamas in our local Facebook groups that I would do a boot camp this year. I have ran my old ones for about 2 years in a row now. Um, so we had life changes and it's gotten a little bit harder. So I promised I would do it on Friday night and I'm so excited. So tonight I'm going to introduce myself in case you're new to the groups and you're new to me on Facebook, not Facebook, YouTube. You know what I mean. So that you know who I am and you know how this YouTube came about, where it came from, and then we'll talk a little bit about laws. Hopefully somebody will jump on. I know it is hard. I'm kind of changing what I do. I do a lot of answering in our Facebook groups. I answer a lot of questions about homeschooling. But anyway, I'll get to that. I do lots of answering of questions on homeschool. I mean, that's kind of my thing. But anyway, so I'm Devin. We have homeschooled over 20 years in our family, really, over 20 years. My oldest is 20, he'll be 24 this summer. And I began homeschooling him when he was about 2. So what happened was, as I graduated university, I had 2 small kids, and me and my husband looked at each other and said, "We're going to be spending, we're going to be spending more money on daycare than is we're going to be paying to work. I'm going to be paying to work." That's pretty much what we decided, and we decided to stay home. And I decided to do preschool homeschool. So I decided that and that's all I was going to do. I was only going to do kindergarten. So I'm like, and the rest is history. So here we are, 5 kids later. 3 are in college, 2 are still at home. My 2 youngest, one is in a senior this year. She's going into her senior year and will graduate and go to college. And then the youngest is 9. She will be 5th grade in the fall. So I have a long way to go. I'm kind of here to stay. So that is kind of like our homeschool story. We've homeschooled a long time. We still homeschool. I now work outside the home. My husband works at home, so it looks different than we. So we've done all the things. I've homeschooled the kids, and with me doing it with paperback books, but really before there was anything on the internet. Now we use curriculum on the internet. Lacey, my youngest, has a live teacher that's fabulous, and now I work outside the home at a local university. So that's us, and I talk a mile a minute. That's just me. So this YouTube channel came about before COVID. We would have, I kind of called it Mom's Saturday School. It was kind of a funny name. And the moms would come for breakfast, and we would have different people come in, and they would talk about different homeschool subjects, kind of like, just ways for moms to learn. It was lots and lots of fun. But it came about that people would say, "Can you record it? Can you record it? Can you record it?" And so we moved to a Facebook group, and we would record it and put it in there so that it was kind of closed off. And then later, as I got braver, I began to do, then COVID hit. We couldn't do the in-person, so we started doing monthly meetings online where I would interview people. So if you go on the YouTube channel, you're going to find lots of interviews, lots of workshops, just a little bit of everything, because I'm very, very much a let's help mamas out. I love when people ask me questions. I love to answer questions. I got one section on the YouTube channel that talks about parent requests. Like if I've had people ask, how do you do this parent portal, and I'll get on and show them how to do a parent portal and like teaching textbooks. I did promise I was going to take the placement test in teaching textbooks and show what the school part looked like for students, and I have not finished that yet because, math. Like, who wants to do math, really? I'm like, really? So that is a little bit about me, and So as you know, I like questions. So as you watch this video, you may not catch it live. It may not be live. Drop questions in the bottom. I will try to compile them into those subjects. And as we do the boot camp, I will come back and answer those things. If it's something that's a future episode, I'll wait a little bit. But if it's something, that I really think you need to know today, or you can send me a message. I'm real easy to find. So, not hard at all. I'll answer your questions because really, there's no bad questions. There's none that are silly, none that are stupid. It's never, never stupid to ask a question. If you do not have leadership to answer your questions, that is one of your top homeworks for this week. Find you a mentor or a consultant or a veteran, somebody who has been there and stood the test of time, because that will help you navigate homeschooling so much. So that's about me, and that's about the YouTube channel and how it came about. So let's talk a little bit about law. Now, how I usually run this YouTube channel. I know those of you who know me personally, or you know me in the local groups, you're going to say, okay, we're in Alabama. I try to give where you can find the information no matter where you are. And then I'll probably use Alabama as an example. If you're not in Alabama and you still need help and you're confused, drop me a note. I can try to navigate it, or I can hook you up with somebody who will know. Because I'm always good about telling you, if I don't know, I will find out. I will tell you I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know. That's that leads to chaos. So anyway, I have to start this all out before talking about law. I need to state and tell you that I am not a lawyer. I have never wanted to be a lawyer. I don't even like law. One of the things I deal with it a lot. Alabama law, I deal with that a lot, especially homeschooling. I answer questions all the time. It's kind of become a no-brainer because I've been there, over 20 years. ADA law, that's becoming something new. Don't ask me anything on that, but it is not my favorite thing, not at all. So, if I can point you to somebody else, I will, because I don't want to be your ultimate expert. Now, something else besides that. Don't get your law information completely from Facebook and the Facebook groups. They're not lawyers either, unless they say they are. They could be. We have a lawyer we did have a lawyer in our group. We may have a lawyer in our group, and love having somebody else to weigh in on stuff, because I can't represent you in court. The Facebook mamas who are giving you advice can't represent you in court, and they can't even probably go with you. Talk to someone who knows what they're doing. So that is, I always start with that. I'm not a lawyer. Find some, just take anything you hear on Facebook with a grain of salt, because they are not lawyers. Make sure it's a veteran you're talking to. In Alabama, we're kind of volatile. There's a couple of groups that like to argue with each other, and I'm not going to go into that. But take all of it with a grain of salt. Don't rely on just one person to steer you. Look for a veteran. Look for someone who knows what they're talking about. Now, I will say that I am very pro homeschool legal defense. Alabama does have a lawyer that can represent people and work with lawyers in Alabama. There are groups that say there's not. That's not true. It has a name. I'm not going to go there. So I'm gonna share the screen. I'm gonna show you 2 places to look for law. And if somebody jumps on and asks questions, I can answer them. But I like to tell you where to find it, because you have to be, when you become a homeschool mom, you are taking control of your family, and you have to know the law. It is not my job to tell you what the law is. It's not someone else's job. You need to know where to find it. I like Homeschool Legal Defense's website. They have a summary. They are lawyers. They do have a pretty they've been around, over 30 years. Over 30 years. They have a pretty balanced view. Do I always agree with everything they say? Not always. But from what I've seen, especially with Alabama law and other laws, they've got a pretty balanced, steady interpretation. That's the word for it. So I'm going to show you what their website looks like, so you can find it for yourself. Let me see. I always forget where to go to share the screen. There it is. I found it. So let's see. We're going to share the entire screen. There it is. There, let's see. Did I do it? Okay, let's go there and see. Will that switch that? Yeah. Oh, that looks awful. Let's change that because that's just not a good thing. I did something wrong. Sorry, guys. I should probably play. I haven't been on here. I haven't used this one. No, we're not going to do that either. Yeah, y'all know I'm crazy. Let's see. Share screen. Okay, there it is. I found it. There we are. So this is Homeschool Legal Defense's website. This is before you log in. I mean, if you don't have you can still use it if you don't have a membership. I do. I've never used it for me. I have used it for other stuff. Let's see. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Okay, teaching my kids. You see where there's all that stuff. Looking for it. Maybe here. Oh, wait. No, I just saw it. Y'all, sometimes I need a little bit of. Okay, legal. So you can look at homeschool laws here. This is pretty much open for everybody to look at. So here we go. It's like, here's Alabama. It's considered a low regulation. The green, let's see, greens are no regulation. So Alabama does have some regulation. This is one place where people get a little bit stuck in Alabama. There are people who like to say there's no regulation, but that's not quite true. So see, it's at a glance. 3 options, school age. And this is what we base the reason why there is legislation. Let me just see if it pulls up if they have it. So here is the compulsory age. If you look in here, Alabama law requires children to be between 6 and 17 to attend school. That is what we stand on when we say you have to do something. You don't have to do a cover school. You don't have to do private school. You don't have to do, I mean, you can pick which one you want. There are 3 options. But a lot of people say, oh, well, we don't have to have a cover school. We don't have to do anything. That's not what this law says. So every child between 6 and 17 are supposed to attend school. They're supposed to be registered somewhere with their school district. Doesn't matter what choice. Really, and all 3 are really simple. So I'm like, that's the thing. So that this show, that is, if you're in Alabama and you wonder about that, that is why I say we have to do something. It's because of that one law. Nothing to do with homeschooling law. It just has to do with the compulsory law. Compulsory law has to do with all kids. It's not a homeschool law. So when you look, see now I'm going all the way back. So I should have just hit the backspace. So anyway, when you look at Alabama, here's what the main things. So immunization records, you don't have a hat except here. So each one, there's several. You have to be a teacher to do option 3. You have to have immunization records for option 2. No subjects, no assessments, unless you're in a church school. Church schools can require that. They set their own law, their own rules, and you have to go. If you pick a cover school, which I love because I run one. I mean, I've run one 15 years. But still, I help mamas all the time that are not in a cover school. I'm like, y'all are my peeps. My kids would laugh at me for hearing me say that. So this is what. So like if you were over in Mississippi, here's what Mississippi does. Let's look at Mississippi. So Mississippi, there's only one option. School required 6 to 17. Notification required. Teacher qualifications, no. State subjects, no. Assessments, no. So that's that. And then you go to Florida, because I know we have some in Florida, Mississippi. So here's Florida. 3 options. School required. Notifications, you don't have to. It says no, except for number 1. None for parents. No. So, I mean, you see, every state, I'm going to stop sharing. Let's see. Let me go here. every state requires their own, they control their own education law. So Alabama will be different from Mississippi or New York or California or Washington or Florida. They each have their own. So when you move from state to state, then you have to pay attention to that law that you're going to. I'm going to show you another place you can look. So I know it, I mean, if you become a member, you can go deeper into Homeschool Legal Defense's website. They have more stuff there. They have a lot. They do a lot of stuff outside of just representing homeschoolers in court. So, but if you ever want to search the laws yourself, I'm going to show you where to do that. And it's going to take me just a minute to pull that up because, I can do things and then I have to reteach myself. I just did it and then I'm like, oh, what do I do now? Where do I go? Here we go. Okay, so there is a website, and I will put this website in there. Justia U.S. law. You can actually look up codes with this law. So here I have Alabama church school law. So if I do that and I hit, it's going to pull things up. You can log in and sign up. I don't have a website with that. So when you roll, let's see if it pulls it up. It's kind of being a little slow. Let's see. There. I didn't hit it right. So here it is again. So homeschool laws by state. Then you go here. This is the age of kids required. This is the code that we base everything. This is the one of the things that we argue with in Alabama. How stupid is this? I mean, really, how stupid is this that we argue over this? Let's see. So here's the code. There's the section. Ages of children. I'm live streaming.
Oh, okay.
He's leaving. That is the one that started us all on the path of homeschooling, and he doesn't want to be on the camera. So the ages for here. This is what we base it on. So it's like you can go and pull up each individual law and read it for yourself, which I highly recommend because I want you to be empowered. I want you to control your information and not be swayed back and forth by people. So in Alabama, if you're here, there are 3 options. Yes, every option requires some type of paperwork with your school district. It's your zone school district, not the state. Don't send it to the state. They probably wouldn't know what to do with it. Send it to your school board. So it's like if you're in my area, we're in Mobile County. We have 4 school systems in Mobile County. If you're in Baldwin County, there are 3 school systems. So that's 7 that I would deal with all the time. Then if you move to other states, there might be, not states. In other counties, there might be more. There might be other ones. So, but those are the ones I deal with the most. So it's just a matter of knowing which one you have and which one you're going to. So that is my basic on law because no one jumped on. I have a feeling we're going to start building as time goes on, and you're going to love this video when you see it. Alabama law, it's a beautiful thing. We have, church school law has been in existence for probably 30 years. Private school at home option, it started in 2014. The tutor is probably about as old as the church school. And they're really, I feel like they're all really kind of like loophole laws where they, like the church school law, they put that into existence. And it was not tightly written. So there was a way for people to teach at home, because what really happens is when you sign up with a church school, your home becomes a satellite classroom of the school. The private school at home one, they wrote that so private schools could have home programs like homebound, and that's what the tutor one with. The tutor one is really, I feel like, probably along the lines of homebound, where they were giving people the option. So the tutor one, they have to report to the school board. There's a lot more. I don't even know a lot about it. I just met someone who uses it, and I've homeschooled over 20 years. Most teachers will use the private school or the cover school. I like the cover school better because there's just a little bit more freedom, I feel like, in the cover school than the private school. Private school, there's a bunch of things you're supposed to keep on file, which still has freedom, but it's like church schools, you only have to fill out the initial enrollment form, and then you don't update that unless you move or you go to a new school. So there's lots of ins and outs and freedoms. If you watch this video later and you want to ask questions, just drop them. I'll put this in the Facebook groups. I'll put this here. Just ask me and let me know. I've been around a long time. I am not against any type of homeschooling in Alabama or any other state. I'm not against anything. I'm pro homeschooling. But I do want you to keep your records in order because it's important for everybody. Even if nobody ever comes and gets your records, it's important that we all follow the law because it does. When people don't follow the law, it does affect everybody. Even if we're doing right, it will affect everybody, and that's just important. It's important to be good humans, unless they're going to come and like do something nefarious. Like, there are times in life that you don't, but this is one that I've watched it well enough that you're okay. Let's follow the law. Okay, so welcome to my Homeschool Crazy. Let me know what questions you got, and I will answer them next Friday at the beginning of the video. But next week, we're going to talk about teaching styles, learning styles, curriculum, and all the things, all the fun things. Those are the fun things. I hate the law. I hate talking about the law. This is always my least favorite one. I'm like, don't make me do this one. Don't make me do it. Just go to Homeschool Legal Defense. They've got a nice summary. I'm like, just do that. But anyway, so let me know what you want to know about teaching styles, learning styles, and curriculum, and let me know what you want about law, and we will go over that next week at 6 p.m. Central, and we will have a great time. I might not do the 20th. It's my birthday. My kids want to take me out to eat, so we might do it earlier in the day. So that may be a deviation from the plan, or I could always record it the day before and then just air it. So we'll see. Depends on what's going on. But I appreciate y'all. I'm glad y'all dropped in. Welcome to the YouTube channel. Welcome to homeschooling. I'm really excited for you. I'm cheering for you. I believe in you. You are important. Your questions are important. You are important to your success. Let me know how I can help, and I will see y'all next week. Bye, guys. There.